your favorite rappers' time, your favorite movie stars' time. Let's get into it. Is the enemy of me in position to say the enemy of my enemy is my friend? Let me tell you something. There's certain thoughts that aren't putting out there. Now, we're just mentioning things. We're not accusing no one. We're just mentioning things exist. And it's come to my understanding that there are certain people that don't like me even mentioning things. Like they control freedom of speech and freedom of press. You know that's a First Amendment, right? You know you don't control that, right? You know you can't tell someone what to say when they want to say it, right? You don't have that power. That's where they're stuck. And I understand. You want to be able to do everything. You want to be able to tell someone when to speak, how to speak, but you don't want no one to tell you how to speak and when to speak. That's the problem. And that's why we do what we do, because we know these people exist. And I know you people exist. Even down to the fact of the matter is, they don't like that we address certain subjects. We have a right to. I have a right to ask. I have a right to say, where's the proof to say that somebody's owned by somebody if they're declaring it? That is like someone like, show me proof that you are who you are. What, is the officer going to say you never have to show ID if he's looking to arrest you for something? They're going to hold that against you as a charge. You guys, you're in la-la land. You're not seeing the bigger picture. Now, here's the thing. How come people aren't speaking out when people are saying derogatory things about people, defaming them, because they don't like what they're saying? Nobody speaks to these people, and it's happening often. I mean, to the point they're really trying to paint a narrative. You're really trying to paint a narrative as someone as a bad guy because they don't believe what you believe, or they're not mentioning something the way you want to hear it mentioned. We're seeing this normalized, and here's what's crazy. It runs deep, because if you look at the certain actions, let's get into it. From the fans of Genesis to the fans of the DJ Scheme Guy to other people's fans, you don't like how stuff's being mentioned, so you're painting a narrative a certain way, saying certain things. The way I don't come at y'all for saying certain things and being somebody, how can you come at me? That's what gets me a little bit confused, because you're coming at me for a point of view that I'm giving in my opinion, and I'm asking. Well, just because you don't want to answer the question doesn't mean that you can try and say that I'm a bad person for asking it. Here's my thing. You're a bad person for knowing if you allegedly slept with a bunch of people that you're trying to say this one person belongs to this one person, even though I'm sleeping around. That's bad. That's my opinion. I have the right to voice my opinion. And you have the right to say what you're saying, but you don't have the right to paint someone off as a certain person because you don't like what they're saying. Think about this. Think about all the attacks that are launched. I wish someone would take that channel down because of them speaking freely. What are you, the social police? These people are a joke. Then when they go live, they're like, "Oh, I'm credible. Listen to me. Oh, I've been looking into it." Then why haven't you been asking questions? If you've been looking into it objectively, you would have asked nearly all the questions, if not more, that I asked. That shows your position. That shows your mentality. That shows whether you actually care. That shows your character. There's so many things being shown by that, it's hard to name them all. But at the end of the day, we are who we are. Then painting a narrative, telling me people think this, people think that. I don't care. Listen, CZ, let me say it slow, Instagram. On Instagram, CZARR _ all rights reserved. Anybody who authentically had something to say has said it there. Even Geneva. Now, remember, I just mentioned about Geneva being authentic. Now we see a random post by Genesis giving props to Geneva. Really? Really? Just a day ago. Really? And that was last night. I seen that a day ago. After I said it. Come on. You're fake as fake money. You are fake as counterfeits. What are you talking about? Instead of congratulating someone else on being real, maybe you should learn a few tips and say, this is what I should do authentically. Like, they don't think that way. That's how I know it's crazy. So y'all fans need some help. And if you're a fan and a fanatic, get your head together. If you're not questioning certain behaviors, you need a character analysis. Because honestly, if you're going to be your own independent, I'm an independent woman, I'm an independent man, then you should be able to sit there and think for yourself. Someone shouldn't teach you how to think. Just because I come out with opinions and stuff, I don't tell you to not like them. Go look through all of the videos I did. Where did I tell you not to like someone? I give my opinion on it openly, as I'm able to and allowed to, as anyone can. Just like I let you do for me. But when you're painting a narrative and publicly putting it and telling people certain messages and things that I do have behind the scenes, you look like a lame. Oh, I don't feel comfortable talking around him. Oh, I don't feel comfortable with his videos. Then what are you here for? Why are you even logging on? Go about your day. Be comfortable in your space. How can you be comfortable in your space when you're worried about criticizing someone without the credentials to even criticize them? Name it. I could say, oh, I'm a judge. If I don't show proof, how do you know I'm a judge? Oh, I'm an agent. Undercover. Doing a lot of things. If I don't have proof, or you don't have proof, how can you say that? It's just people talking. It gets to a point where people just talking to talk, but then don't want you to talk. But let you talk, oh, something's wrong with it. We letting you talk. So how are you mad someone else is talking a certain way when you want to talk your way? Doesn't make sense. Who's more credible? Which sounds more realistic? Bottom line. And the bottom line to that is people are plotting. Listen, there are multiple plots going on. Before Tentacion, after Tentacion, there's a lot of plotting going on. Because they can't make decisions alone. They got to plot with someone. They got to have someone else's expertise. What is this, Ocean's 11? Come on, man. Actors and actresses, well, what explain why you're so fake? Come on now. What is going on? And not that an actor and actress is fake outside of acting, but you're presuming a role. Are you all presuming a role to take up some responsibility to say something a certain way to try to vindicate me to something? Stop playing. You guys talk in circles. You sit around talking friendly with people behind the scenes you tried to take shots at. Like, cut it out. Here's the thing. I was never on anyone's side per se. I did express people when I had respect for them. Doesn't mean I was on their side hiding stuff, blocking stuff, like a lot of people. Trying to stop others when I tried to take them down. I wasn't doing none of that stuff. That's the thing. And I have a rapport to speak directly to them. That's the thing. The people who I've spoken about recently, and I had the ability to speak right to them, they didn't want to speak right to me. They didn't want to talk about anything. They know how the talent works, and they don't want to subject themselves to something. So that alone tells me something suspicious about you off the jump. Something's not right. And when stuff ain't right, we call it out. We're wrong for that. If something wasn't right dealing with your child, would you not want someone to stand for it? Probably not. Probably not. Because you're so selfish, you wouldn't even care. But these are the type of things I'm talking about. It gets a point where you got to leave that fantasy world that these people live in, and you got to become an adult. You got to become an adult mentally and look at things for yourself and judge them how it makes sense by what you know to be true. And that's the problem a lot of these guys have. Listen, I'm not just saying this to say it. I'm not talking about stuff to talk about it. I'm talking about it because it's relevant. There's people that talk to me on the backside I never tell you. That's why I talk about it how I do. And I understand because you want to feel important. Look, I does this on my own, never anticipated it, and they just gotta feel important. They gotta make a point. They gotta. But I've been. See, when I coin these phrases, okay, I'm not saying it because it sounds good. I'm saying it because it's fact. And I'm saying it because it's real. And I'm saying it because only the real's going to recognize it. How are you going to say real, recognize real when you don't even have nothing real you got going on? You're not even doing anything real. How are you helping? Oh, I'm helping this person. What are you guys talking about? And it's not to any specific person. I'm talking to the people that were like, oh, I need his channel, this, and this. He this, and this. Oh, cut it out. Get on with your life. Post about something more interesting. Do you see me posting about you? I do YouTube talking about it because that's what my audience wants to hear. But do you see me posting about you anywhere else? Are you a part of my life in any way, shape, or form? You're not. That's the thing. Get over yourself. Get over yourself. If it's justice for John, get over yourself. Why are you worried about subjects I'm talking about and not listening and discerning, well, that's not true. But you got to tell her that's not true. You got to tell him. You got to prove it to her. You got to prove it to me. Prove it to me. Prove it to where the media is coming from. Why can't you prove it before me? Then I'll ask you to when you get quiet. and still slandering. Oh, he's this. You guys see how fake that is? If someone's talking about you, saying stuff about you to other people, but then when you ask, they're like, oh, no, nothing's wrong. No. Then they post about you all day, every week. It's like, get over yourself. Get your head right. Really focus on what you got going on then. You're obviously not happy with what you got going on. And another thing, things won't make happiness. You got to be happy as yourself. You got to be happy as an individual in order for you to achieve that happiness and that passion for yourself. But some of you don't love yourselves. So you choose to pick and choose who you want to hate because you never love yourself. That's sad. And that does not show CommenterNation. We are not about that. We are something greater than that. We will always be. Shout to Commenter Galaxy, Commenter Universe, greatest nation since United Nations. You know what time it is. All rights reserved.